Hey guys, so I'm about to go on a trip, and it's been a while since I've done how to set up a Mantis X on your firearm and on obviously your phone. There's three things you must need in order to make the Mantis X system work. Now I'm going to be using a Mantis X2, so that's the first thing you need, Mantis X2. Or you can use an X3 or X10. Setups generally the same. You just get more features with the X3 and X10. This is the Mantis X2, so you need that. You need a phone or a tablet that can use the Mantis X app. Okay, then you're going to download the Mantis X app, of course. And you need a firearm, right? So this is my new SIG M17. I've got about 50 rounds through it, just kind of plinking around. We're going to see what happens from there. But this is my new firearm. We're going to set this gun up with the Mantis X2. So the first things first, make sure you clear the damn thing. Make sure there's no ammunition in the magazine well or in the magazine. If you have a big enough firearm where you don't need a magazine, don't use a magazine. It's fine. Lock the action to the rear, and then check the chamber, slide face, and the magazine well to make sure it's completely clear. Allow the slide to go forward, point in a safe direction, and pull the trigger. Now you know that it's completely clear and the hammer has been dropped. Now, I recocked it because we will be dry firing with the Mantis X2. The firearm that you use needs to have a rail system on it. You can purchase a device that goes on the bottom of your magazine, and then that will actually work well too. So here's the Mantis X2. It just slides on like that. Pay attention to the direction that it goes, because when we set up the app, you're going to want to know that. And then we can press this on. I'm not going to turn it on yet. I'm going to go into the settings on the actual app. So here's the app, Mantis X. You can see it right there. I'm just going to click on that guy. Now I could connect now or skip connect. Right now I'm just going to skip connect because I just want to go through some of the things that the app has. So skip connect. So as you can see on the screen now, you have the daily challenges, which come with each one of the Mantis X systems, the 2, the 3, and the 10. So you can go in there and you can do those daily challenges. You have open training, shot timer, par timer, Mantis X benchmark, 20-second benchmark, time benchmark, endurance, etc., etc., etc. Compress, surprise, break, primary hand only. You get the gist, right? You can go down through there and check all that out. When you do these challenges, you can actually go down here and do these. You can actually go down here and do some courses with Mantis X, which is really cool. Gives you kind of warm and fuzzy. Like if you've never done firearms training before and you just want to do dry fire to start off with, this would be something that you could do. Okay. I actually have the advanced combat one. I just, for whatever reason, it's not showing. But anyway, you guys can see all the things that they have there. Basic marksmanship, advanced marksmanship, elite marksmanship, basic combat, advanced combat, elite combat, so on and so on and so on. So really cool things that you could do there. For history, so we can go in here and go to all history, and you can see how many shots you've taken throughout the entire time, or let's say 12 months, or let's say 6 months, or 1 day, right? Uh, Groups, you can be part of a group, or you can make your own group up, right? And then settings. So this is where you're going to actually set up your firearm pertaining to your app, right? Obviously, up at the top, there's going to be pistol, rifle. What are you going to use? Are you using pistol or rifle? Of course, right? The other one is right here. If you hit select firearm, you can actually put somebody's name down. This is what I did. Like my son and I and my wife. I got Dave, TP9, Eli, TP9, Carmen, TP9, right? And then I can actually select that particular firearm. So let's say I get up and I'm going to practice, and I can go to that, and then I can track my progress. I can track, my son's progress or my wife's project progress, or whatever. So that's really cool too. Now, obviously, I want to hit if I'm left-handed or right-handed. Then that's going to be very important when it comes to actually training, because the system, if you tell the system that you're left-handed and let's say you're pulling it left, it's going to be different. If I'm pulling it left this way, it might be telling me that I'm doing this wrong, which actually I'm doing something else wrong, right? So make sure you have those settings correct. Then you have shot detection mode, live, dry, and more. So in the more, we have dry fire, live fire, CO2 blowback. So that's something like using a cool fire training system, or maybe even maybe even like a pellet gun. If you wanted to use a pellet gun, you could use this in theory. Dry fire, single action, obviously. Dry fire, double action. SIRT. So if you're using a SIRT gun, you want to use that. And then SIG P320 dry fire, ATF red. I don't know what that is. It's some kind of training system, obviously. And then dry fire legacy. I'm actually not understand. I don't understand what that is, the legacy one, but it says universal. You can try all these different ones. We're just gonna go to the P320 one. This little, it looks like a shell. I'm gonna click on that. Oh, excuse me. We're gonna go to this one we're gonna go to the settings cog. Now this is the minimum threshold score. So basically what this means, we'll hit this information here. Said this setting is to help false positives. Don't cheat yourself into training, but if you have problems with low score, false positive being detected, then you can set a minimum threshold to only detect shots above a specified score. So you want to be realistic here, right? If you aren't a very stable shooter, maybe you set it at 50, maybe you set it higher than that. All right, so sometimes you'll get a false positive just by the trigger reset, right? So you probably need to set that somewhere so it doesn't actually read that false positive, okay? So I'm gonna put it at 50, right? Shot detection delay splits between 0.15 seconds will be ignored, right? So this is what it says here. Enabling the 1 second delay prevents shots from being detected within 1 second of the previous shot. So if you shoot, for example, it's going to read it, and then if you reset within a second, it shouldn't read that reset. Does that make sense? Because all it's feeling for is like a little jerk or something of that nature, so it can read the shot. Okay, so estimate threshold. let's go half a second. I think that's good. Okay, done. And we can go back here. All right. So you can see that I've got the SIG P320 dry fire, and I've got the shot detection delay at 0.5 seconds, and I also have, what was that again? I forget what was that. And I also have the minimum threshold score of 50, right? So this should help eliminate those false positives you might get, okay? The other thing that you need to make sure is that it fits snug. Now, I have a problem with my SIRT pistol where if I put this on there, it kind of wiggles a little bit. So if you take a hack that I've done is I've taken just a piece of paper and I ripped a little bit of piece of paper off there and put it inside of here, right? And then put it on the firearm, and then that snugs it up a little bit. That's going to help eliminate those false positives as well, okay? So now that it's on, I got the settings done. I'm going to press the button, and then it's going to start blinking, okay? I'm going to back out of the Mantis X. I'm going to come back in. This time I'm going to connect. Now I want you guys to see something here. Now I have the gun laying on the table beside me, and what I want it to do is calibrate. So once it's connected, there's going to be a solid green button. You can see that solid green button. It's not blinking anymore. And now I'm going to set it on a table or something solid, and I'm going to hit open training, and it's going to tell you, okay, make sure your firearm's clear. Okay, cool. And then sometimes it's going to try to calibrate. Let's see if I can make that happen real quick. So I'm going to hold the firearm in my hand, okay? And then I'm going to connect. And then I'm just going to move it around. Let's see if we can make it happen. Okay. Now see how it says calibrating right there? Now I'm connected. You can see I'm connected, but it's not calibrated on the phone. I'm just going to set it down, and you can see that it calibrates. Now, sometimes you might have an issue of, let's say, the phone and the Mantis X system talking to each other. So all you really need to do is shut down the app again, reopen it, and then it should work, okay? So now I'm on open training. So let's go through that. I'm going to hit start. There's several different pages in here. You have the score pages, like the home page, if that makes sense. And then you'll have your threshold page. You can see what you've done with your trigger press and your hold movement. And then this shot score is really cool because you can look at this for each shot and you can kind of see what's going on. And then we have just the stability, right? Right now it's super stable because it's on the table. Let me move this camera. So right now it's super stable because it's on the table. But if I move it, now watch the actual app, okay? When I move it, you can see what's going on there, right? So it's measuring what is happening with this particular item. So if I was to take this item off the gun and start moving around, I'd get the same outcome, right? So you can kind of see that, right? So that's cool. Now, you don't actually need a target, like an actual physical target, if that makes sense, to dry fire. Right now, in front of me, I have some of my certificates up on the wall, some of my I Love Me stuff. I'm going to aim at the corner of the actual certificate for my dry fire, okay? So, here we go. Now watch the actual app. Okay, so 98.6, not bad, not bad, not bad. So now let's look at what's going on here with each one of these options or these windows you have. 98.6, pretty good. I don't see any red there. We're going to do a bad shot in a minute. There you can see there's a little dot up there by the 100, right? Because it's close to 100%. So it's off of a percentage, 0 to 100, okay? And then here is the shot score. Now, if I just take my two fingers and I zoom in, you can see right there we have the blue, which is before the shot, I'm getting set up on target. The yellow, which is basically the trigger pull, okay? And then that red is the follow through. The X is where I theoretically hit, okay? Now, if I hit the play button, it will go through how everything was going, right? You can see that right there. Boom. Everything's right there in the center. And then there, that's just that. You can't really do anything with that. It's just you can see that it's working, right? So now let's see if I can do a bad shot. Okay. All right. Here we go. Let's see. I'm going to try to anticipate on purpose. Okay. All right. There we go. I did. All right. So I anticipated on purpose. You can see that it's 84.8. You see that little red thing on the bottom there. If I click on that, it will give you what you were doing wrong. Okay. And a lot of people do this, right? This is the most common, from what I've seen, this is the most common issue because people want to anticipate that firearm going off. All right. So pushing forwards, wrist breaking down. Obviously, you can see from the video that I actually did push forward. And then on the next page, you can see those two dots, right? The first shot was 98 point something, and then this next shot was significantly lower, I think 89 or 88 or something, whatever it was. And down beneath that, you can see where the trigger press movement was versus where the hold movement was, right? So the hold movement was a lot more. What would you call it? Not as good as, let's say, the trigger press, right? You can see the bar graph there. And then here again, we're going to play this, but you can see the blue is me getting set up on target. The yellow is the trigger press, and then the red is the follow through. Okay, so let's play this. There's the blue. I'm getting set up on target. I decide, okay, I want to go ahead and pull that trigger. Boom. Right? And then as I'm pulling the trigger, you can see that little bit of play there that I had with the trigger, the slack that I had in the trigger. That's part of it. Okay. Let's do a couple more. All right. Let's just do a couple more real quick. I'm gonna charge it. 94.4, a little bit to the left, not a big deal. 97.6. All right, 98.1, good. Now, this thing is, I'm going to try to heal a little bit. Let's see what happens. All right, you can see that it heals a little bit. Again, you can, any one of those in the red, you can click on and it gives you some kind of feedback. Okay, the next thing we're going to do, shot timer, okay? You can hit drill. Buzzer delay is 2 to 5 seconds. No shot count limit. So if you want to do, let's say, all right, I want to do 10 shots right now, and that's all I want to do, you can do that. You can repeat, obviously. Score floor, I'm not sure what score floor is. I'm not sure what that is. I'm not sure what that is. Let me hit this here. To reduce false positives, we throw out shots with very low scores. However, if low scores are expected, okay, so there's that. They kind of give you, they update these apps all the time. So let's turn it on. Okay, and done. Now, you can see here the summary and the shot timer, goal, practicing your timing, all these other things, right? Right hand, it's forward. Remember I said the position? So the actual device is forward on my firearm. Now if I want to take backwards, okay, it's waiting. It's not calibrating. Probably because it's not full, it's not backwards, but so if I wanted to, oh no, here we go. All right, this is the classic example of when it's not talking to each other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just shut down the app. Then go back to the app, reconnect, shot timer, okay, and let's see what happens. All right, so now we're going to troubleshoot because of no incoming data. All right, so I'm going to shut down the app. I'm going to turn off the device. I'm going to return the device on. Go back to the Mantis X app, connect, shot timer, okay, boom, there it is. Now it's changed to backwards. I need to change it back to forward. So there we go. So you might have to do some troubleshooting just like with any electronic device. Now I'm going to hit start. Now the sky's the limit here. Let's say I just want to do it from here. Listen for the beep. Okay, present. Fire, okay? What if I want to put it on the table and like I'm just hanging out here? I hear the beep. Shoot it ready. Hear the beep. And fire, right? Let's say I don't know, maybe it was in my bag or something. However you want to do this, it's the shot timer, right? Another thing you can do, and this is what I like to do, is take all that slack out, focus, 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 and then when you hear the beep, you want to be within a quarter second, and you want to be above 95, which I'm close, right there. You can see 98.8, 0.26 seconds. Right? 97.9, 0.29 seconds. A little bit faster. Let's go a little bit faster. Oh, early. And you'll have that. You'll have some early discharges like that if you do that. Right? You want to take all the slack out and then try to make it happen. All right. So I didn't make it within a quarter second, but you guys can see there. And it gives you your average score, your total time, all the things that needs to happen. Okay. And then, you could, the sky's the limit. Par timer, benchmark, all these other things you should play with. If you guys want more, go ahead and subscribe. Also, go ahead and become a member, right? I will have more videos like this in my membership profile. So if you want to become a member, and there'll be a lot more videos to come here in the future. So you guys check out.